Hey guys, good afternoon. Well, almost afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome into Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're on the world tour. This is flight 208 or episode 208, leg 208. We got quite a few flights in on this world tour, that's for sure. We're at Maurice Bishop International Airport in St. George's, Grenada. And we're going to be flying today to Speedbird International Airport in Osbourn, Antigua and Barbuda, serving St. John's in Antigua and Barbuda. We're on British Airways flight 2256, normally flown in the Boeing 777, but we're going to be flying it in the Boeing 787-10 using the Heavy Division mod. Hopefully everything works. We're just going live time, so it's about, I believe, 1:30 in the afternoon in Antigua and Barbuda. Just looking at everything else. We've got GS6 Pro. We're going to try that out. Hopefully that works today. We also have FS Live Traffic Liveries, FS LTL, FS HUD ATC. You'll hear the ATC in the background. Benny Overlay provides my overlays, and Volanta is my flight tracking. We're not going to be using Pack X today, and as always, we have Bajan Habashi's 4-season pack. Alright, so let's get into this plane. I'm a little disappointed because I've been using the, called, what's the name of it? VAS Airplane Toolbox. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a calculator for the 787, so we're just gonna have to do what we usually do, and I think the plane actually finds things out on its own. Still having this texture issue where you can see how the textures kind of get pretty crappy. See that? Zoom out, they get crappy. Zoom in, they're good. Certain areas kind of just blink in and out of coverage. Not sure why. I've been looking on forums, and I'm gonna have to post my own help desk thing because it's not a problem I had before with my textures. Alright, so this get FS HUD ATC set up and ready to go. It'll just be running in the background. You guys won't be able to see what I'm clicking on, but it just keeps a text record of all the ATC callouts that they're sending me. But you guys will be able to hear it. Alright, let's get inside the plane. And alright, I already have the battery switch on. Want to make sure the parking brakes are set. Right there, battery switch on. APU generators are in the off position. Master knob in the off position for the APU. External power, have that available, I guess. All right. Landing gear down, flaps lever up. Yes and yes. The speed brakes lever retracted. Engine fuel controls in the cutoff positions. Fuel pump switches are off. Engine instruments checked. Anti-ice controls auto. There we go. Anti-ice auto. Let's turn up the overhead panel lighting just a little bit. The auto ice, anti-ice. Not that we're gonna really need it though. Not a big deal. Window heating as required. Get another one where I forget where that is. This is, oh, we got a little bit more up here. A lot of this you can't really even interact with yet. At altitude setting. Again, there's some of these things on the checklist that I have that really don't match up. Altitude setting, where do I put that? IFR clearance, Need that. And then one thing that they don't have on the checklist is IRS alignments. Let's turn those on. Get those aligning. Let's get our clearance.
Maurice Bishop Tower, Speedbird 22563. Request clearance to BC Bird with information. Bravo.
Speedbird 2256, clear to BC Bird, runway 10, fly runway heading, climb and maintain, flight level 60, squawk 6553.
Cleared to BC Bird, runway 10, fly runway heading, climb and maintain, flight level 60, squawk 6553, Speedbird 2256.
Alright, so we're cleared to 4,000 feet. 6,000 feet, sorry.
Wind ready. Contact Maurice Bishop ground 121.9er.
Alright, runway 10, and we're going to fly out runway heading, so that's going to be 104 degrees. That's our departure. 104 in that. Come back here. Alright, we got 2,733 meters for our runway, 8967 feet. So we should have plenty of runway. Wish I had a calculator for this plane. Alright. Beacon lighting on. Not yet. That yet. We're gonna go nav light, logo light, wing light. And we're gonna turn on. There's the wing. That auto. Passenger signs. Keep that off because we don't have everything on board yet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into the flight computer for now. Set up the payload, and then we'll go get GSX running. Get the passengers loading on. So we go to heavy, payload manager, and throw that over there. Bring up sim brief. Payloads, what we're looking for. We're looking for black fuel, 10559. The fuel on board, go 10600. There we go. Fuel on board. Extra fuel, reserve, doesn't ask for that. Payload, 27142. So 27142. That. We got 241 passengers. Cargo, that includes extra cargo, but also includes baggage, 8,000 kilos. We'll hit execute. That will adjust all the weights. It says pounds right here, but it's in kilos. That always gets a little confusing. Once the payload is set, we'll get the passengers loading on. GSX will then use that to determine how many passengers it will show for our loading sequence. I was debating what flight I wanted to do today. I want to do some flight requests. Depending on the time I have left, I think we'll do a couple world tour flights. The next one's a short one in the Cessna. And then possibly I'll do a flight request depending on the time. There's a flight from India to the Maldives that I got a request from a while back, which I have prepared to go. I'll be in the A320. Let's request boarding.
Boarding requested.
You see the textures have all unloaded for some reason. Hey, Mika. Mika, did you request the flight from Saarbrücken out to, I don't know if you had a specific place you wanted to. I have that planned for like flying to Greece, I think. think we could potentially do... Well, I don't have that plane in. No, you didn't. Wondered who did that. But if I do a flight request flight, I think it'll be the from India to the Maldives. Just to give us somewhere else to fly versus flying back over Europe again. Just did yesterday. We're already on board, so...
Bus is coming.
Now, is there a way for me to open the doors on this plane? Question. I don't think so. Unfortunately, I think we're just gonna... I'm doing alright. I went into work this morning. I picked up some hours. And then I got in there and they didn't really need me because the can line had finished up before I got there. So, but my bosses are really cool. They're like, hey, you can work as long as you want, do some spotting, and pick up hours. And I think I did that for a couple hours. And it was a little bit busy for the 2 guys that were scheduled. I'll help them out. Alright, let's get in here and get this plane set up. Actually, we'll go on this side. No, I can't. I like how it shows everything, but you can't actually interact with it. Move that over. Get sim brief back up. Alright, reference airport. That's where we're coming out of. So Tango Golf Papa Yankee. Throw this. Actually go gate 3. Not that's good. I think set heading. I'm not sure what that does. Next page. Go to the route origin. Tango Golf Papa Yankee. And we're flying to Tango Alpha Papa Alpha. Runway 10. We've been cleared for that runway. I'm not going to request the route. I'm going to punch it in manually. The heavy division 787. You can request the route from SimBrief, but sometimes it doesn't put it in correctly. So just do it manually. That way I know it's going in right. So our flight plan right here is we're going to go for runway 10 direct to the VOR here, Golf November Delta. From there we're going to take Airway Alpha 324. One's going to be us. I think it's going to be this one right here, right? North 12 degrees, west 60. There way I can see what our there it is. Oh yeah, we are west 61. Yeah, I suppose. Wonder where this VOR is. Alright, Alpha 324. Then we'll go to Fort-de-France. That's Martinique. And then we'll take Alpha 312 Airway to the VOR at St. John's at our destination airport, which is going to be, again, West 61, right there. Our departure, which is going to be runway 10. Got that, I suppose. Route. Each. How are you doing, Mika? How's everyone doing? Got a few of you guys in here. Glad to have you. Hopefully get a couple flights in this afternoon. Alright, performance and page. Passengers coming on board. Okay, we got the passenger bus, but the passengers aren't coming on because I don't have the door open. How do I open the door? What are the problem when you don't have a way to open the doors? Plane, I don't think. Integration? Yeah, I don't think there's any way to open the door, so I don't think we're gonna get the passengers on with GSX Pro. Pretty tired. Actually, I'm not too tired because I had half the day off yesterday. I'm guessing the passengers aren't going to come on until we open the door, but I don't know how to open the doors on this plane. Cargo doors automatically open. I don't, there's a setting I can... I'm trying to think if I've done a flight with GSX in the... Yeah, open passenger door. I have to open these passengers. How do I do it? Well, went into the settings and I basically said, ignore if the doors are closed or open, just let them walk through. Now this is what I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start probably flying more just the A320 and the 737 because those seem to work better with ESX and other stuff. You know, some of these planes just don't have the settings right. How do I open the doors? Now I don't get a pushback unless I reset everything. I could have sworn there was a way to open the doors on this plane. That's crazy that they don't have that ability. But of course, again, this is a freeware product and Heavy Division has not customized this thing as much as Fly-by-Wire has with the A320. Alright, well that's fun. So we're going to just have to restart GSX so we can at least use the pushback at some point. Because we can't have the passengers coming on. Alright, down to the... back in here again. It's a beautiful plane. The problem is that it's just not as functional as the PMDG 737 or even the fly-by-wire A320 yet, so it doesn't work friendly with everything. Alright, we're going to be cruising today at flight level 230. Cost index of 27. Reserves have 3.7. As I said, it's kind of a bummer I don't have the, a calculator for this plane, unfortunately. I'll do a quick internet search if I can find a calculator for it. There's a payware one. Don't need a payware. Oper calculator tool, but I'm not going to pay $10 just for a calculator. Put in 55 degrees. This. I will do takeoff. takeoff, flaps 5. Again, here's the problem. It's like I don't have really a calculator to get information on this stuff. Alright. All of our information is in. It doesn't look like it's giving us a center of gravity trim. I must have missed that. Trim anywhere. So, as I do this plane, I'm kind of missing flying the 737 suddenly. Because not as much is modeled properly. Alright, APU is coming up. Jump in right here. There you go. Figured it out one time. See the different. There it is, system. Okay, system, electrical. I'm gonna see the APU. There it is, APU. Turn on the generators. Turn off the external power. Turn on the beacon light, and we are ready for pushback. We can get all our fuel pumps on. See if GSX has started. No, Nico, I'm not on VATSIM. Like I said, that's gonna be a project at some point. And I gotta get it all set up, the V-Pilot. And I know it doesn't take that long, but I have to do it. And like I said, it's like I don't always get that stuff done. Prepare for pushback and departure.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
My flight control check right here.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Rudders. Rudders are kind of a little too sensitive right now. Alright, so we're gonna do a quick edit pushback. We can only go one way.
Exiting from editing mode.
Locking gear. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
So we'll go. My engine startup. Where is the engine startup on here? What? Oh. Alright, we'll start the right engine first. N2 at 20%. We'll get that fuel cutoff switch disengaged.
Set parking brakes.
Starting the left engine. Setting parking brakes.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Good engine start.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Best views from the plane. I don't think as good as some of the other planes there. Oh, it's still lowering me. Turn off the generators and turn the APU off. Runway turn off lights, taxi lights on. Ready for...
Maurice Bishop.
I forgot to ask for pushback and startup clearance from ATC, so we're gonna get that. And then we'll get the taxi clearance right here, really quick.
Speedbird 2256. Pushback and startup approved.
What's going on with the
Pushback and startup approved. Speedbird 2256.
GSX is losing its mind, I think. Disconnected, he lowered me. Went away. Okay, I guess we'll just do that. Sometimes GSX does not want to work. Alright, here, let's get our taxi clearance and get out of here. Runway time, we're gonna have to double back on it.
Taxi.
Speedbird 2256. Taxi to holding point. Runway 10.
Taxi to holding point. Runway 10. Speedbird 2256.
Getting our flaps into takeoff position. Nice and quiet inside the plane.
Speedbird 2256. Contact Maurice Bishop Tower 118.9er.
Contact Maurice Bishop Tower 118.9er. Speedbird 2256. Maurice Bishop Tower, Speedbird 2256. Runway.
I guess technically we're not ready for departure. Kind of just want clearance to line up on the runway, which we're getting now.
Line up, runway 10, Speedbird 2256.
Climbing a hill. Climbing a hill in the 787-10. Not exactly what it's designed for. Taxiway kind of goes up and then back down. Short flight compared to yesterday. Yesterday, I think it was ended up being about a 3 hour 20 minutes from gate to gate. So we're not going to need any time acceleration today. Most of these Caribbean flights are not going to need any time acceleration. Once we hit the United States, though, we'll probably use a little bit more time acceleration as we cross the continental U.S. We're going to be doing Miami out to Bermuda. We might. That's a little bit of a lengthy flight, and then Bermuda to New York. Then we're going New York down to Dallas, so I'll be about 4 hours. Probably use some time acceleration there, so it doesn't take not a 5 hour stream.
Speedbird 2256. Wind 90 degrees at 20 knots.
Not a space to turn around here.
Cleared for takeoff.
Runway 10, cleared for takeoff. Speedbird 2256.
Alright, we're cleared for takeoff. Let's make sure flight directors both on, parking brakes are off, takeoff flaps set, speed brakes retracted, instruments checked, landing lights on, strobe lights on, parking brakes are off, anti-ice is required. Oh, that's top of the sun. Alright, checklist complete. We are ready for takeoff. Go. Do get the feeling like this plane takes off way too quick. Pretty low speed. Landing gear up.
156, radar contact. Continue climb. Flight level 60.
Continue climb. Flight level 60. Speedbird 2256.
Alright, we're at 6,000 feet, headed towards... Headed to Dusel, like. We got 25 mile per hour gusts. That's why we're aimed this way, but we're kind of traveling that way.
Flight level 150. Contact.
He's doing all right.
Center 123.7.
Right now he's wearing too big of pants right now, so his pants keep sagging everywhere. But he's all over the house. He's probably trying to climb up the stairs right now if he's not taking a nap. Alright, let's climb to 15,000.
Inbound diesel at flight level 60. Climbing flight level 150.
Speedbird 2256. Radar contact. Continue climb. Flight level 150.
Continue climb. Flight level 150. Speedbird 2256.
Well, he'll have to do that when I'm at work. I guess our electric bills will go up once he starts doing that. It's not like they already didn't go up. Ugh. Crazy. Crazy out here, the difference between last flight and this flight. I'm getting 60 frames per second, no problem right now. It's just not a lot at this island, I guess, and 787, I suppose, doesn't have been doing a ton. Eat up those frames. Pretty cool. Coming into Stansted yesterday, it was, well, yesterday I went from Marrakesh up to London Stansted, and yeah, coming into London, our frames were, you know, between 17 and 22 that whole time, but not really noticeable on the stream. I watched the stream back and it wasn't very noticeable, and so it wasn't terrible. It's just very noticeable when you go from, you know, from this, which is 60 frames, to, oh, a more populated, more traffic dense area. There's Grenada. Leaving Grenada, we're headed north. We're gonna have the Perico Island and then Union Island, I guess, on our right. We're gonna be going past the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so we're gonna be, I suppose we're going past the Grenadines, these islands right in front of us. Coming up on. Guys right here.
Speedbird 2256. Climb and maintain. Flight level 230.
Climb and maintain. Flight level 230. Speedbird 2256.
$230. Yep, big airports, low frame rates. Unless you have the i9, the latest generation CPU, and 4090. Yeah, then you won't I don't know if I have multiplayer on. Not for this flight. I don't think I turned multiplayer on. I could do that for the next one. I can turn multiplayer on. I'm not flying too far next flight though. But I am flying in the Cessna 208, so that'd be a nice one if you want to jump in and kind of do a little VFR hop here in the Caribbean. We're going to be flying from... let's get it up. From Tango Alpha Papa Alpha to Tango Romeo Papa Golf, which is Antigua Barbuda to Montserrat. Be about a 20-minute hop. Yep, I use FSLTL. I haven't noticed, I usually don't notice a big difference between the frame rates having FSLTL on and not. I mean, it's a few frames, but again, certain areas you're going to get 60. You know, I load in with nothing going on. This has been my complaint because I don't remember it being like this before, but I'll load into someplace like Chicago, LAX, you know, big American airports with nothing there, no traffic. And I'm in the mid-20s already before I even turn on FSLTL. I'll load into a big airport like Madrid, and I get good frame rates, and then I put FSLTL on, and then the frame rates come down a little bit, but still very nice because it started in the 40s, and now with FSLTL it gets into the 30s. Whereas American airports, for some reason, here in the sim, I load in, and I'm already, you know, low 30s, mid 20s before I even turn on anything else like FSHUD ATC and FSLTL, which is going to eat into your frames a little. It's a little bit different flight today as we fly over the Caribbean. Yesterday I did that a viewer requested flight from Marrakesh up to London Stansted. And that was nice. I used a little bit of time acceleration, so I think the sim flight time was 3 hours 20 minutes, somewhere in there, but it only took us about 2 hours to do. And the Boeing 737-800 from PMDG, the PMDG planes have a really cool system for using the time acceleration within the plane itself. And I tried out the auto time acceleration, so it accelerates time up to whatever you set your max to, and I had it just set to 4 times, which is the most stable usually. 2 to 4 times is the most stable in the sim. 8 times you can get away with in the PMDG as well. But with the automatic, it'll accelerate your time when you're at cruise and just cruising in a straight line. But if the plane needs to do an adjustment, if it needs to do a turn to, you know, switch directions a little bit, it'll slow down back into real time, do the adjustments, do the course correction. Once it gets onto a straight line again, it'll accelerate back to 4 times. So it's not a permanent thing, it's a little bit more dynamic. But if you want manual control, there is that manual control, and it's pretty cool. I guess the A32NX, the fly-by-wire, I think it's limited. You can only use 2 times because of the frame rate. You need to have a 17 frames per second, and every time you do a time acceleration, you lose frame rates as well. But I'll have to try it out in the A320. I think I should be able to get to 4 times because, yeah, I get pretty good frame rates. Again, when I'm at cruise and I'm not in a very extremely busy, you know, and by the time I'm coming into approach, I'm at real time. That's what we did yesterday. You know, once we got to top of descent, took the descent in at real time, the approach, and so then the frames in, you know, your frame rate doesn't matter, and you probably wouldn't be able to do very good time acceleration in. Yeah, I kind of got interested in it again after watching 737NG Driver on YouTube. He's a real 737 pilot, and he had a video talking about how it's like which one, you know, talking about how realistic it is to use time acceleration. That in fact, it's actually more realistic to, you know, take advantage of time acceleration in a simulator because it'll allow you to fly more flights, do more takeoffs, do more landings, do more plane setup and shut down, all that stuff, do more ops in less time, and it will also allow you to do longer flights that you regularly wouldn't do if you're like me and you can only get 2-3 hours a day to do a flight, and all you do is schedule yourself to hour and a half, 2-hour flights at the most, because that's the only time you have. You don't get to stretch out the legs of some of these planes, especially the bigger planes like the 787 or the 747. But even the A320 and the 737, those planes can fly 6-7 hours on their longest legs. And he was saying it's like, and then you get different weights. You get different weights and bounces. The planes perform differently at higher weights, so your takeoffs are different. You're always flying a half-hour flight in the 737 or an hour flight. You're always going to have the similar weights, similar feelings of the plane, and you're kind of limited what you can do. But with time acceleration, you can speed up the parts where, in real life, the pilots aren't doing anything aren't doing a ton during the cruise as well. Well, it's not real. In real life, they can't speed up the time, is the argument, right? Well, that's true, but they're also getting paid for their time. They are limited by real-life physics, of course. But the pilots on a, 6-hour flight, once they get up to cruise, what are they doing? They're reading the newspaper, they're fiddling, watching a movie, chatting maybe a little bit, grabbing a snack, running to the bathroom, taking a cat nap, depending on what they can do, right? And what are you doing realistic when you're flying in the sim? You got a 6-hour flight in the sim. What do? Do you sit in front of your computer the whole time? Are you just focused on looking out the window, looking at the controls? Are you reading the newspaper while you're sitting there? Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I'm not saying you can't do it, and he wasn't saying you can't do it. Like, if I do have a longer flight, I want to, try to do some other work. But again, how realistic is that? Right? If you're in the plane, you're probably not watching you're not watching streams and stuff. I don't know. You're not doing laundry for sure. You're not going to the other room doing laundry. You're not running out for a grocery run in real life in the plane. So the whole concept of time acceleration is unrealistic. It's yeah, it accelerates the time. That's unrealistic, but it allows you to do more realistic flights. You're able to do more realistic 747 flights and 777 flights. Now, granted, this flight is a real flight that's flown in real life, and it's only an hour long in the 787. But the typical 787 flight isn't an hour long. Usually it's going to be 10 hours long or something, right? Well, I don't have 10 hours to, just sit in front of a computer and have it running. You can do it. You can schedule those out and figure it out. But I saw a great point in the comments, too. It's well, how much, especially with energy costs going up, you're running your computer, burning all this energy, pulling all this power out of your wall, paying for that. And what are you doing? Your plane is just cruising along, not really doing anything. Some clouds are going by. Do you have any of those first officer programs? I know there's a new one, FSFO. Flight Simulator First Officer is, I think, a new product that's come out. What's the other one? Because I have, FS2 Crew. I have that for the A320. I haven't used it. I'm going to have to try it again. And then I might be tempted to try FSFO and get that for the PMDG 737. Is it better? It's the OG. I think it's been around longer, so I think FSFO is... I haven't looked into them, but I was I was watching... Who was I watching? I don't know who I was... who's the real pilot? Oh, I forget. I should remember who it is, but I was watching him, and he was using FSFO. Oh, you have both. Well, there you go. When you have both, I figure he has both, too, and... Yeah, that was just the one he was using. I didn't really look into it that long, but I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And that might be something cool. get into again. The problem with those is you have to pay for each plane, and so then it becomes, okay, which plane are you going to fly a lot? And that's why I originally got it for the fly-by-wire A320, because that was the plane I was flying all the time. But now I'm getting to the point where I kind of almost want to fly the 737 all the time. Multi-crew. Hey, Valentino! Welcome in! How are you doing? Multi-crew. I think I've heard that. Multi-crew. Yeah, I'm kind of at the point where I'm trying to not... I mean, they are useful. Those are the kind of things I like to buy versus buying an airport. Or things like that. But I've bought so many little utilities that have ended up kind of being shelved and I haven't used a lot, including FS2 Crew. But I'll have to pull out FS2 Crew again and try it. Figure it out. Yeah, well, the problem with airports is, for me, I mean, I could tell you there are some really good, I mean, the premium ones, there are some airports that's like, premium is the only thing that would be, that's worth it, or it's the only airport that can upgrade it or even make the airport usable. I'm like, man, just give me a decent freeware version, a mod. And there are some really good freeware mods out there. We're flying to a bunch of them here in the Caribbean. I've been downloading a ton of freeware airports in Asia, China specifically. And there's a lot of good ones in China because so many airports in China are not even in the sim to begin with, and so people have to add them in. And then I try to fly out of some of these airports and SimBrief doesn't even recognize them. Like, what are you... But there's some really good modeling. There's a really good one. It's Zulu Yankee Charlie Charlie. I think it's a Changchun up in northern China, north of Beijing even, and it's a really good model. Like, the interiors are all modeled. I mean, it's not premium wear modeling for the but for freeware, again, it's up there with Oslo Airport, a couple other ones that are just very good freeware airports. Let's see. Let me jump back here. How long's the flight? The flight, I believe, is about an hour, I think, was the scheduled time. We got half an hour left, so... something like that, around an hour was the flight. Yeah, runways are definitely the most important part. Runways, I like to, you know, I don't mind if it's fully modeled inside. Give me a good, decent model for 3D buildings. You know, and you can have fake glass and everything and make it look like there's people inside, whatever. And even that's not the most important thing, but definitely, yeah, we need to have the, definitely need to have the runways. In some airports, it's like, the sim, you know, like I said, like in China, there are a lot of airports that are not even modeled, including the one where I lived. I lived in Hangzhou, China, and Hangzhou International Airport is not even in the sim at all. And no one's made a freeware version of it yet, which is driving me up the wall because it's like, I flew out of that airport a couple times. You know, it's just crazy. I mean, here's an airport that serves a city of 10 million people and doesn't exist in the sim at all. Yep, Valentino, I answered that. Yeah, we're down to about half an hour, but I think it's about an hour flight. Yep, my wife is from the Hangzhou area. Well, she's from, that's where we met. We met in Hangzhou. She's from a smaller town, about an hour and a half, 2 hours southwest, or southwest. At some point, we'll do a flight. I mean, especially when we're doing the world tour flight, if I do the right one, the air route, I can't remember where I flew from, but I think I flew from Hong Kong to Shanghai. I believe it was where I flew back in X-Plane. And the route goes right over her hometown, right over our apartment, right over where we lived. And it's pretty crazy, so... And I'll have to make sure I turn on the Google Map enhancement package, otherwise it looks like crap. But yeah, we'll definitely be able to see it on the world tour, if not just doing doing a flight over there. Check it out. The wife's from there. Yeah, we worked in Hangzhou, and then the last couple of years we were there, we actually had our own little school thing in her hometown. Kind of a low cruise today. Got some clouds actually coming out as we're flying over... What island are we flying over now? Alright, so we flew over St. Vincent and the Grenadines a little bit back. Kind of missed that. We're flying over St. Lucia right now. Just about to fly over Castries and the airport, George F.L. Charles Airport, where we flew in a few flights ago. And then we'll be coming up on Martinique and flying right over Fort de France. Little course change up to Dominica. We'll fly over Douglas Charles Airport. That's where I don't think we've flown into Dominica yet. We'll be flying into that airport at some point. Then we'll fly right over Guadalupe and Pointe de Pitre Airport, where we've flown, and then we'll be up into Antigua and Barbuda. So what's really cool about a lot of these flights is that we're just flying right over all these airports, kind of flying the same routes we're going to fly over and over again as we go up and down this chain of islands. I was there from basically full years from 2012 to 2019. So about, what, 7.5 years. Oh, I really miss it now. When I was there, I missed home a little bit. Towards the end, I was kind of getting settled in, but then I kind of got burned out what we were doing the teaching English and stuff. I kicked myself for it because now it's like what I'm doing now and working 12-hour shifts and barely making ends meet here in America. I really wish we'd go back to that, but I think us making the decision to leave on our own was better than, everything's kind of changed over there now. Doing the English school kind of tutoring thing is not really viable anymore. Chinese government's not into that so much. But yeah, I loved it. Towards, especially once I got settled in. I bought myself a bike over there, a road bike, bicycle, and then did a lot of biking. And had lots of time to do that. I would go on 4 or 5 hour bike rides all over Hangzhou. And then when we moved to our hometown, I'd ride all over the place. And it was really cool when we moved to our hometown. But even Hangzhou, I did it when I get to the outskirts, like kind of the outer edge of the city, got away from the city. And now I'm more, you start getting towards, the farms and the rice paddies, or, the terraces, the small villages full of people who have never seen a person who's not Chinese before, and they see you whizzing by wearing spandex on a road bike. Or I'd stop in at like one of their convenience stores in one of those small little towns to buy some water or Gatorade, and they'd just be like looking at me like, and they smile and wave. And that was always cool. I think she's settling in. She's made a lot of friends here. I tend to be the one that wants to move. I want to go back to China because it's kind of, for me, it's a little bit boring here. And our life is so different because over there, yeah, we had to work, we kind of had a routine every week, but then we could always look forward to going on a trip somewhere, right? It was so much, because it was so easy to save money because everything was, the money we made versus the money we had to spend just to live was so different. And whereas here, it's like scraping a little bit to save every week to put towards a trip in the future. Yep. Yeah, I hope so. Now it kind of sucks that, like, if we had, I always think about, it's like, oh well, my parents are able to spend time with my son, with my baby, right? But if we were in China, if we were still living in China and had the baby over there, we would come over every year. We would come and visit. I did that from 2012 to 2019 every year during when we had off from school, when we had a vacation for school. I would take off a month. I would take the vacation and then take off another couple weeks, and we would come over for a month and visit. And we'd visit my parents, we'd visit family, we'd go on a road trip and do all that stuff. Whereas now it's kind of, okay, maybe I can get a couple weeks off from work. I can get a couple paid weeks off from work. Can't really afford to take unpaid time off. And then you get over there, visit family, and it's so much more rushed going that way than it is coming this way. But we're gonna have to do it eventually. We got another plane down there. Right there. In and out of the clouds, maybe. One flight, I look back now when I first, I'd have to look, but I remember, I think when I first went, first few times I went over, flights were, you know, round trip would be 1,500 or so. But towards the end, when we would come back and forth, for both of us together, it'd be 1,500. So it kind of went down. Now it's like 2,000 round for one person. It's back up to like 2,000, 2,500, depending when you're trying to go. So now when I have less disposable income, the prices have gone way higher. But yeah, I mean, back when I was doing that again, it was a big purchase, but at the same time, didn't have as much responsibility financially. And also had, you know, even after we bought our apartment over there, the apartment, the payment was $400 a month. We still were able to save, not as much as when my apartment was paid for by my boss, by the school I was working for, but still definitely a lot. I never noticed this mountain over here. My head. In St. Lucia. Oh no, Martinique. We just went over Fort-de-France. That was what the little city we were seeing. Right there behind us. Let's get a screenshot of that. Looking really nice. You can see other planes flying around. Well, that's what I mean. The margin, and now my stress level is a little bit higher with doing a trip. If we were to go to China, it's a little bit higher because, you know, $1,500 is a lot of money if it was just $1,500 for both of us. Now it's like $4,000, almost $5,000 for both of us, not including the baby. I mean, that's a month of what I bring home, and we need that money to pay the mortgage and all the bills. That's where I kind of wish we were back in China, because I felt more freedom able to travel. We went to Thailand when I lived over there. In 2018, my grandma died early in the year. Now, usually we would come back to America during the summer, because that's when we would usually have a few weeks of vacation for the school, so parents and their kids could go on trips too. And we flew back for my grandma's funeral in March, flew back to America and visited for a month. I think we took a month or 3 weeks, and then went back. Well, then during the summer, we had a few weeks off for school, and so then we took a trip down to Thailand. We were able to do both those trips, and that'd be unheard of now living here in America. Well, after I graduated from college, I didn't know what to do, and just during the summer, I came across this. I don't know if I looked into it, because I know one of my fellow history majors, he asked if I was, because our church, our synod, our church organization, we do some teaching over in China. We send people over to China to teach and, you know, also do church stuff, religious stuff, which you're not supposed to do, right? But the main thing, going over and teach English, right? But I didn't want to do it there. I wasn't really interested at that point. You know, I was still focused 100% on school and just trying to get graduated. And then during the summer, I don't know if I just looked into it or something. Yeah, kind of like missionary, but kind of but you're, you know, the missionary is kind of the, I mean, missionary is the main purpose, but you're, you know, but you're working at a university or whatever, teaching English, and then on the side you're doing the kind of, you know, a little like a house church kind of stuff, that kind of thing. Trying to fly under the radar because you get in trouble if you're not with an organized, state-sponsored, tolerated religion. Basically, if you're Catholic, you can do it. Mostly other ones, you're not allowed to. Oh, yeah. So I didn't do it through that. I did it, I just was... I think I got interested, I looked into it, or if an ad popped up on Facebook or whatever it was, or, you know, hey, you want to, you know, interested, you want to travel to China? I think there were a few other places I could have gone to. I was like, you know, we'll teach, you know, you'll take this course. I can't remember how much I paid. You'll learn how to teach, you know, do ESL classes, and we'll set you up with a place to teach in China, and you can come over. You get paid such and such every month, and you'll have time to go and see things in China and do all that stuff. I was like, you know what, that'd be interesting. I have no idea what I'm going to do here. So I went over and did that. I just felt so out of my element the first time I went. Teaching English, didn't know what I was doing, no confidence doing it. But I got a girlfriend there. And so then I came back here for a year, visited a few times during that year, and I was like, you know, I want to get back over here and spend time with my girlfriend. And again, still didn't know what I was going to do in the United States, so I went back over there. Different situation with the teaching. The school I went to the second time, you know, prepared a lot more materials, had a lot more of a, okay, here's step 1, step 2, step 3, here's how you do this is what we want you to do in your lessons. And it was, you know, I didn't have to do as much planning. But then over the years, as I had this fallback, okay, here's the system, and then I would start tweaking with the system and making it my own, and learned a lot of stuff to the point where we eventually did our own school for a while. But yeah, initially it was, you know, that first time it was fun training because we trained in Beijing, met a lot of other foreigners, you know, a bunch of people from the Netherlands and from all over the world, with people who, you know, knew English. And basically in China, if you are not Chinese, like if you're white and you can speak English, even if English isn't your first language, you can get a job teaching English. It's kind of crazy because my first job, I remember talking about this, that like if you're of Asian descent, maybe you're not even Chinese, but you're Japanese descent, or, you know, you're Asian. Let's say you're Asian American, or you're British. You know, you're Asian, but you're from Britain. You're right. You're born and raised in Britain, but you have Asian descent. You can't get a job in China teaching English because, well, you'll look like a Chinese teacher, and the Chinese teachers, you know, the parents don't want to send their kids to a Chinese teacher because the point of sending them to one of these after school things is you're sending them to a native speaker, even if the native speaker, that's not their native first language. But because you look Asian, they're going to assume, well, it's not your first language. And my kids are already learning from an Asian teacher at school who's teaching English as their second language as well. So that kind of weird thing. No, I mean, I just wasn't, like I said, I was kind of burned out at the end. I didn't really want to teach anymore. Looking back, I kind of want to go back and teach again and do what we were doing. But over here, I just don't feel, I feel very underqualified and scared of doing it here. And, you know, depending on what I'm doing teaching, I'd have to go and get certification and all that, and get it, you know, spend thousands of dollars doing that, and get paid a lot less at a job than what I'm getting paid now at this job. So monetarily, it doesn't make sense either. All right, so we got a VOR DME runway 7 is the approach that we've been given. I guess they're gonna vector us into it. Yeah.
Speedbird 2256, expect VORDM, approach runway 07, report when ready for descent.
Expect VORDM.
I mean, sometimes I'd like to like teach history or something. That'd be kind of cool. But I have had a few. I've been approached a few times. One of our schools, one of our church schools. You know, they're always looking for teachers. But again, I feel underqualified. I'm not really like, do I really want to get into teaching, make probably half as much as I'm making at the job I have right now? Yeah, I'd work fewer hours. I wouldn't be working 12-hour days, 60 hours a week. You know, especially during the summer, I'd get summers off, right? But well, now we'd have to move out of where we live right now because we wouldn't be able to afford this house. So, you know, long term, it probably would make sense to do it, but I don't know. All right, we looking like we got 13 minutes to go. I'd say probably 20 minutes by the time, you know, obviously once we start descending, slowing, it's going to take a little longer. We're getting there. Right off our right here in front of us is that is the island of Marigalante, which is, I believe, part of Guadalupe. Just flew over Dominica. We're going to be passing right through the butterfly, middle of the butterfly of Guadalupe, the main island. And then on the other side of that, we'll be up into Antigua and Barbuda. Off to our left, as we're approaching Antigua and Barbuda, will be Montserrat, where we're going to go on our next flight. Probably just going to be right over there. Could probably even... Pretty soon we'll be able to see it. And our next flight will just hop in a Cessna 208 and short hop over there.
Island weight 797, climb and maintain, flight level 300. Climb and maintain.
Oh, you know what happened? We never actually went up to our cruise of 23,000. That's why I think the flight's taking a little longer than I was expecting. We're already... Yeah, we didn't get to our cruise level. I never climbed to 23,000. Yeah, see, it's saying climb and maintain. I thought it was gonna continue climbing because I put in 23,000 before we reached 15,000. Yeah, that's why you want to double check.
Level 100, speedline 5 to par, arrival, contact Races, approach 119.05, Speedbird 2256, radar contact, expect Alpha November 4, VORDM, approach, runway 07, report when ready for descent.
It feel like we were pretty low. 23,000 is not that much higher, but. Nope, not descending yet. Because we're already at 15,000. I never got that up to 23. I missed the, that's why they keep telling me to climb the 230, but I'm not even going to bother climbing because as soon as we start climbing, then we'll get that descent. I thought I got that 23,000 in before we hit that 15,000, but I guess I didn't. I never hit the, there we go, now we're starting to descend. Around 14,000. I never hit this button. And so we're flying right over Pointe Pitre. There's Pointe Pitre Airport right there. Flying right across the little middle of the two butterfly wings of Guadalupe. I haven't been able to find it on my checklist on the little operating manual I have. It says you have to do that, but I can't find it anywhere where you set the altitudes, like the ground altitude or the air altitude. I turn the landing lights off. Yeah, I don't see anything for. It's just like the yaw damper. There's no. I don't see a yaw damper option anywhere. Well, it's like automatic, I guess. That's all there is up there. There's not a lot. Here's the pressurization right here, but none of it's active. I don't know where you'd... Yeah. How you would do that, because it's, again, so different than the 737, this whole upper panel. Yeah, I wonder if it's just auto... I figure it's just got to be automatic, I guess, because... I haven't seen anything. Yeah, let's get in the arrival. So we're doing arrival, VOR 07. We're just going to skip the transition. Even though we are going all the way in, so I guess I could put the transition in. Oh, very modern. Right there in front of us, there's Antigua and Barbuda.
Island weight 7907, climb and maintain, flight level 330. Climb and maintain, flight level 330.
Technically Antigua.
7907.
Barbuda is going to be the next island up, right back there. Let's do a quick check of the charts. There's the chart for the arrival. Got our VOR right there, 114.5. We're going to be flying right in. We're going to fly into the VOR. We're then going to fly out 262 degrees. Then we're going to turn 307, come back 127, and then final 82 in. And if we have to go around, we'll come out 81 degrees, continue on the, basically just tick over on the runway heading, loop back out 41 into a holding pattern, and then back in, try again. Right there, missed approach, left turn, outbound on Alpha November Uniform VOR Radial 81, climbing to 1500, then left climbing, turn to return to the VOR at 2500 feet and hold, or as directed. Minimum is going to be 1,000 feet. Final approach 82 degrees right there. So when we come in VOR, we want to be 2,500 feet at the VOR, and then come out. Make this turn at 2,500, get down to 1,500 by the time we get to 8 miles out. And then come back.
Proceed direct Alpha November Uniform, Speedbird 2256. Speedbird 2256, descend and maintain, flight level 50. Descend and maintain, flight level 50, Speedbird 2256.
Get the minimums in here. Can't go higher than. Alright, minimum 1,000 feet. Start descending to 5,000.
Radar contact, maintain, flight level 340.
Put the VOR. This radio page.
Runway 797, expect ILS Zulu, approach, runway 09, report when ready for descent.
Yeah, there it is. Alright, so VOR 114.5. Course 82 degrees. Yeah, I really don't need to do. What else do? Well, put 81 on this. ADF is 69. That. We got our approach right there. Landing lights on.
flight level 120, Delta 1977.
With this plane too. Really hard to get the speed brake to do anything. Definitely need the speed brake on. Alright, so we should be at 2,500 feet right now, and we're at 9,000. So a little bit late on this descent.
Descended, maintain 1,200, UNH 1017.
Descended, maintain 1,200. Speedbird 2256.
You get down to 2,500 and then we'll loop back around. We'll just have to extend this out. So we get down to 2,500, then we'll make the turn. Get close to like 3,000, we'll turn, make that turn back. Uh-oh. Yeah, see, we're already there. Ew. Oh, crap. Talk too much.
Approach at 1,200. Runway 07. Report established inbound track. Speedbird 2256.
Also turning the wrong... Man. How with the mouse wheel, trying to do the mouse wheel scroll. Pretty envious of the people that have the actual controls, like a panel in front of them that they can spin those dials, because the mouse spinner or trying to get your button just right, slip off just a little bit, then you're zooming and all this stuff. I mean, that's how quick it is. You go out and then you're turning around pretty quickly. And we're not even close altitude-wise. One of those flights where they didn't clear us until really, really, really late. There's just no way we're going to get down that fast. Especially without a speed brake. And as I do these flights, you know, especially in these kind of the planes that are not as modified or payware, I tend to run into a few more problems. And I'm getting to the point where it's like I kind of almost want to limit our flights to 737s, A320s, and the CRJs, because the fly-by-wire, really good, PMDG obviously really good, and the Aerosoft CRJ all, for the most part, function properly, whereas something like the 787, you're at the mercy of the mod, and hopefully it works. Hopefully they can get down. I don't think we have a lot. Kind of looking forward on the stream. Yeah, we're going to be using a lot of Cessna 208 flights coming up. We have a couple Cessna 208s in a row here, and then we're going to have the ATR 72. Kind of switch that up. And then back in the Cessna 208 for about 8 flights in a row, it looks like. And then we're going to just be bouncing back and forth between the 737s and the A32NX with one CRJ flight in there. So well, there's that island off to our left. Now we can start turning. Let's do, where are we gonna go? 307 degrees. Why can't I turn it? There you go. Alright, now we're down to 2,500. We have plenty of time to descend to 1,500. Get that punched in. Start coming back towards the final. Alright, we're a little off to the right, so we're just kind of eyeballing this right now. Kind of aiming right towards those mountains. The airport's right in here. Airport over there. Oh, it's way over there. How would I explain eyeballing? Not very. I'm just trying to get over a little bit. I think if I go into LNAV, it's not going to really lock on anything. I'll start descending, and we'll get back to 82 degrees.
2500.
Speedbird 2256, established on inbound track. Speedbird 2256, continue approach. Continue approach, Speedbird 2256.
Let's see. I think I put on the LNAV and it got back on. Alright, let's line the flaps. Landing gear down. Runway, we got 9,967 feet. I think we got like an old runway that crosses, so we don't need to get stopped. But if we go, I think if we go 4, we'll be able to get stopped and exit the midway taxiway and jump into the terminal area without having to do a double back or anything. So we just fly right over this little peninsula that kind of juts out.
Tower, United 443, parking 16, request clearance to Kilo Echo Whiskey Romeo with information Sierra. United 443, clear to Kilo Echo Whiskey Romeo, runway 07, fly runway heading, climb and maintain, flight level 30, squawk 6551.
And once we get to Foxtrot Delta 07, we're going to start descending. She should be 1,000 feet to that, so we'll take down there. Then we'll start our 3-degree descent.
When ready, contact Speedbird ground 121.9 United 443.
Have to do a little bit of a turn. Continue. Drifting both sides of the runway. Come on. Over. Whoa. Maybe hop there a little bit. I always forget that we're so much higher when it's like calling out 30. Calls out 30 and then bang. I always forget where we're kind of at. Turn right here. I guess we won't turn right there. Thought it was slower than I was. Got quite a few planes parked over there. Old runway. Oh, this was the one I planned to turn at anyway. Okay, we're on Charlie. That's the landing lights and the strobe light. Work. Nice. Turn off the TCAS. Start the APU.
Taxi to parking 5, Speedbird 2256.
Target 5's right there. I also think we have to wait for United, though.
United 443, hold position.
Hold position, United
Whoa.
443.
United just kind of warped back over there. It would be nice if we could get immersive. I mean, it is why VATSIM is, I think, is as popular as it is, because you tend not to have planes warping all over the place as often. We're gonna bump into this Amerifreight, not Amerifreight, Amerijet. Over there. We'll go over to this one. There's actually some crew. Where you're standing there, but your marshalling isn't really helpful considering you're off to the side. Okay, so I doubt we're gonna get GSX to do much, considering we couldn't get anything when we were taking off. Okay, flight director's off. Lights off, beacon light come off. On. Cut off.
Boarding requested.
Nice. Someday they're gonna make a sim that I guess a lot of programming has to go in, but it'd be pretty amazing if they would do a little bit better with like collisions and stuff in this where vehicles have to find a route that doesn't collide with another vehicle. Alright, well, the passengers are going to deboard. I don't know if we're actually going to see anything here. No, I have no idea how to configure this plane. I went into the settings and tried to change the doors. Well, it's got the doors. The problem is I have no way to open the doors. Let me see, can I just set it to... Oh, in 3D. Let me try that. What I can do. Customize airplane. Yeah, I don't think it's a... Okay.
Passengers bus is coming.
Yeah, see, it's not an issue of where the door is. It's an issue of I don't know how to open the door. Like, how do I get the doors open? That's the problem. Like, it's going right exactly where it needs to be. You can see they're lined up nicely. It's just there's no way to... Like, how would I make it the doors just open? The passengers come out. I don't know.
9443, contact the Speedbird Tower 118.2. Contact the Speedbird Tower 118.2, United 443.
Elvars. Well, I'll have to check that out. Learn how to do it. We're not going to be flying this plane much. But yeah, I could have sworn I've flown this plane before and the doors would open automatically with it. Because the cargo door is open. Or at least the one. There really isn't a cargo door back here, it looks like, or it doesn't open. Oh. And now... Oh, there come passengers. We didn't see them come on before, but now they're coming off. Yeah, I don't know how to open the doors, but... We can take a screenshot from down here and it looks like they're coming off. Right? Kind of fudge it. Can't see the doors. Yeah, I mean, well, again, I'd have to figure out how to do that. All right, well, let's get this show on the road. Let's jump over to the other screen. I'm gonna pull up Volanta. We'll check out the flight. There it is. Competent. Let's review the flight. And we just kind of go right up the island chain, bumping over every single airport on the way. Stats, this is all real time. Well, how come it's telling me flight times quote sim now on that? That's weird. I wonder if it says that if you're at the same... I'll check that on a different flight. We did this flight yesterday. Yeah, I used to say sim in quotes because that's not the sim time. Okay. Anyway, back to our flight. Real time and sim time was 1 hour, 5 minutes. Landing rate, oof. 700 feet, almost 700 feet per minute there. Not too great. 241 passengers, landing speed 112. We kind of just dropped out of the sky, I think. What happened there? Cockpit door. All right, let me see what I can do. I don't know. Do you think it'll change anything right now, or I'd have to probably reload? Let me look while you're giving me the...
Passengers deboarding starting.
Telling me that. Where am I looking? I'm looking at, community, where I have it all. Well, now I'm wondering, would I have to do it under the head, or under the heavy division, or would I have to do it under just aim? Someone sounds like they're taking off. Oh yeah, there goes that United. That's good to see the United taking off, actually. Is he gonna take off? Oh, nice. That away. That's what do you think about? Alright, so let me see if I can find this while you're here. We'll see if... I doubt it will do anything at the moment, since we're already in the sim. Common, flight simulator, packages, community. No, it's not gonna be in community. Because this is, where'd I find something if it's official? Yep, that was Navigraphs. Yep. Navigraphs. Sim objects, airplanes, model. What am I looking for? Cockpit door. Ugh. They're all bins and... What if you open the door? I can't open the door myself. I have no idea how to open the doors in this plane. That's what I'm... You know where to open the doors in this plane? Here's progress, FMC communications, hold, legs, fix. No logical place where that would be. Yeah. Well, we're not gonna be flying this plane too often. Is the cabin modeled? Let's see. You just go like this, right? I don't think so. Yeah, it might be. Not modeled. None of these Zobo planes are modeled.
Passengers deboarding starting.
So that's the drawback, because I have no idea how to open the doors. Pilot tablet on our left. Yes, I would if we were in the A32NX. We're in the... No, this doesn't have anything like that. This is just the Zobo 78710 heavy division mod, so there are some modifications that make it slightly more functional than the default aircraft, but not too much. Alright, well, I wanted to do... I don't remember. Oh, yes. Change this really quick, and then we'll get that world map popped up for you guys. See where all of our flights so far. Also, I'm gonna get you the next flight stream, because I'm gonna end this stream on YouTube, and then I'm gonna redirect you over to the other Cessna stream. Short flight over to Montserrat. Throw that in there. Next stream. In that. When this stream ends, you can head over to that one. You can open that one in another screen. I will probably be a 15-minute break, and then we'll do that.
Do you want to deboard?
Or maybe not. We'll see. I'm gonna have to go check and see what's the story downstairs with the wife and kid. No, we don't want to deboard crew. Okay, let's go to... I want to bring up the... world map. So this is everywhere we've been. Not working. Alright, so there's everywhere we've been on the tour so far, all the countries. And today we are right here in Antigua and Barbuda, right up there. Technically, we're on Antigua. Next flight, we're going to be flying right over here to Montserrat. So just short flight. I'm going to be in the Cessna 208. I'm going to try to turn on the multiplayer, make sure I do that. Turn on multiplayer, US East server. So if you want to join in, you can get in. I'll try to turn everything on so I can see your username and all that. And we can fly over to Montserrat. All right. See you later or not? Yeah. Well, I'm hoping it'll be in just a. Yeah, maybe toolbar pushback. I'll have to try that. I'll have to bring my pushback helper. Probably that could open it. Let's try it actually right now. Pushback helper. Cool thing with pushback helper is it start it up whenever. Pushback helper. The door. Aha! I can open the door. I can open the rear door. I can open one door at least. Out of the three. Opens that door. The opposite side. Cargo door. That opens automatically. Well, in any case, we're going to be in the Cessna 208 next time, so we're not going to really be using GSX Pro or anything. And next few flights on this world tour are going to be just short little hops in the small Cessna 208 VFR. It's going to be really fun. So we're going to go to an intermission on Twitch and just keep an eye out. If I'm not back in, like I said, if I'm not back in half an hour, probably had to step away, do something else. But I'll try to get that flight in this afternoon. I'd like to, but nothing's guaranteed with the wife and kid stirring around downstairs. So I will see you in just a few minutes. If I don't see you in a few minutes, I will see you definitely tomorrow afternoon, and we'll get another flight in, whether it's the World Tour flight or a requested flight. I will see you then. And guys, if I don't see you in just a few minutes, take care, happy flying, keep the blue side up, and have a good rest of the day.